Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your November 2024 forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be looking at the month ahead, and this can be used for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get straight into channeled messages. Last night before I went to bed, I set an intention to receive information for you. The first thing that I saw in dreams was an old-fashioned road map. We really don't use them anymore. We just use the GPS on our phone, but Spirit likes to speak in kind of like old-fashioned symbols sometimes because they're easy to identify. I was watching as someone crumpled up the map and created a new one. And to me, this represents an ability to set a new course and maybe even recognize that the landscape has changed. This can be your internal landscape, your own emotions, your own dreams, but it can also be people around you and the world around you. So, especially for those of you that may be mid-career, if you look back at when you went to school and what you learned and your goals then, we've had some radical changes, even just since 2020 when COVID hit. Like, it really changed the way business worked, the way a lot of us put our values together and what was important. So I'm validating that for many of you, you're in a moment where it's like a new landscape, a new sort of itinerary or plan. And this is the month, this is the day, whenever you're watching this, to really sit down and sketch it out. And you are not required to align to what you've always done or what you said you were going to do 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. This is a moment right now to be really connected to your heart, to your purpose, and then really start to see how to connect the dots from right here to where you want to be. All right, so that's message number 1. I'm just going to do some live channeling right now because I'm guided to do that. What Spirit is showing me, interestingly enough, is rubbish or trash. And what happens sometimes is, especially when you're working so hard and trying to help everybody else and keep up with all the deadlines, it's kind of like cobwebs and junk accumulates around you. And what I'm seeing right now is a chance to clean house emotionally, as far as the stuff that's around you, literally in your space. But more importantly, I'm looking at relationships. Are there people around you right now that are carrying with them a lot of baggage, a lot of rubbish or garbage or heavy energy? You're at a point right now where the other thing that Spirit's showing me is like liftoff. And just like traveling in a plane, there's a limit of how many bags you can take with you. I'm getting the same thing for you. At this moment in time, you're going to have to reevaluate your commitments as far as activities, but also core relationships, and decide who's going to come along for the next leg of the journey. And because I'm getting all of these travel motifs in the channel messages, I think it's really important to know where you're going. And there are times in our lives where we can kind of just coast and not worry and kind of like fake it till you make it. But to be really impactful and to be able to identify and maximize synchronicities, you really want to focus on intentional movement. And that's the big takeaway. So let's go ahead now and shuffle the cards. I'm going to use the Mystical Moments, which is one of my favorite ones. And we'll see what else is coming through from Spirit. Let's get started. It's always important to set intentions. So let's go ahead and close our eyes first. I'd like you to let go of any preconceived notions you might have. And let's focus on having a beautiful, clear sky above you. Imagine that it's nighttime, you can see every star in the sky, connect with your own North Star, since we're talking about navigation, and imagine that you are now connected to your higher knowledge and also to your guides, your angels, and all of your ascended masters that want to come through. All right, open your eyes when you're ready, feel that light and energy continuing to create space around you, and I'm going to shuffle the cards and see what Spirit wants to convey here. Trust your intuition is the first message. And don't rush. All right, I'm going to remain quiet, but we already got some powerful messages there. All right, let's get started here. We have in the catalyst position, the perfect key. And this reminds me a lot of the energy that we would connect with like the Hierophant, because the Hierophant has two keys. What we see here is the key to your heart being primarily featured here. And it's about opening up to your passion, but also realizing that more than anyone else in your life, you're the one that can open the door. You're the one that can bring about the movement, the change, the necessary results that you seek. So this is a time to get organized, to take the lead, and to take the first step too. And that's also what I think of when I'm looking at her, kind of cautiously looking at the caged heart and the key. Now it's time to open yourself up. A lot of times we protect ourselves from feeling even vulnerable because, staying still and not trying something, at least you know then that you're not going to be rejected, but you may not ever experience the joy of accomplishment or of pushing through a fear. And in this moment, it feels like you owe it to yourself rather, to just give it a shot. That's what I see here. And also, people may be seeking out your skills, because that kind of reminds me of a handyman with all of the different keys. So many of you are more skilled than you may give yourself credit for, and now is the time to just trust yourself. The reason that trust is so important as we take a look at all of the cards here is you have one of the most powerful ones at the center, the High Priestess, but she's reversed. So trusting instincts and intuition, paramount in this moment in time. Quickly, I want to just take a lay of the land, and then we're going to get into a card-by-card analysis of everything. So overall, we have movement and change being a central theme here. We have, at the beginning, checking, again, we were talking about the GPS or making a sort of clear and mindful next step, being strategic. That's what this is all about. What we see as the end result, though, is partnership, possibly a wish fulfillment, this empowerment energy coming through. There's a couple of tricky cards here, and there's a few reversals, but I'm going to help you navigate each and every one, beginning with the centermost card, again, one of the most powerful ones in the deck, High Priestess. Before we talk about the High Priestess, there's Apollo chilling out. He just came in from the other room. I know many of you love to see him, so he's holding some space behind us. Let's get started here. High Priestess, like I said, this is a card of empowerment and connection to intuition. I love that she's coming out from behind the curtain. She's starting to peel back the illusion that that there isn't any control over what's going on. The truth of the matter is, we're not just in a play, we're the playwright. We're the one that's creating the movement. So director and actor energy coming together, and you realize, oh, I actually can have more of an effect on the outcome than I originally thought. I'm going to trust what I'm seeing, I'm going to trust what I'm feeling, and if I need to dig a little bit deeper and really validate some of that, great. But at the end of the day, this is showing you that you already know what's what, and it's just a matter of leaning into that. I like that we have a couple cards here associated here with the movement. So we see the ship here, and then the Six of Swords normally has a ship on it as well. So this is showing me that it feels like strategically you already know what you need to do. It's just a matter of follow through. And as I said before, we have the Hanged Man on top of this. Actually, the Hangman's upright because it's just crossing it, but the Hanged Man represents necessary pause and viewing something from a different perspective. I actually feel like the most that you really need to do is just to kind of close your eyes. The Hangman doesn't have to be a day, a week, or a month. It can just be, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to listen to my instincts, and then I'm going to move. So these two work in tandem. This is the truth. This is tuning into the truth. Once you have those two connected, then you can move forward. This is not a very long Hanged Man. All of them are revealing things too. So in this particular illustration, the Hanged Man is pulling down this sort of magical zipper to the sky, and there's something beyond that. And in this High Priestess, she's pulling back the curtains. So for some of you, there may be something new that's opening up to you. There could be a letter, call, or email that's coming through where someone says, hey, I'm interested, or, I've been thinking of connecting with you. You may also be able to see a path to complete something, to do something that you didn't see before. Once you know that you want it, go for it. We don't want to exist too long in the Hanged Man. This is just long enough to check in with intuition. The Hanged Man can also indicate that whatever temporary block or delay is coming through, it's actually going to help you in the long run line up to that synchronicity here. I think of the Six of Swords. Sometimes it can be a ship in the night if you're not at the right place at the right time, right? Two ships passing in the night. But in this case, we're going to allow you to basically be in the Three of Wands energy of receiving that ship. So the pause is intentional. It's going to help you connect to something better. I had to say that before we moved on. We have Three of Pentacles in the deep past. Teamwork makes the dream work. I feel like many of you have been doing a lot on your own. And as we can see here, there's multiple people working together, or I should say a couple of birds and a person. But the Three of Pentacles is a card of like-minded individuals working to complete a vision that they share. So I think you're at a point now where you can open up and partner up if you'd like to, because some of the other energy here is Two of Cups. We have a Page of Cups. So I feel like if you're willing and ready, there are connections and conduits to make this happen. Let's take a moment here to review the original Rider-Waite-Smith card. You can see that this is also a card of construction. And for those of you that are building or working on something, you're doing a great job. This is also mastery. So that means that if you really apply yourself to learning something or completing something, we see it coming through in a wonderful finished product here. The recognition piece can be people seeing the quality and saying, like I said earlier, I'm interested in you. Do you want to go to the next level? This could be in work, like a promotion. This could be someone wanting to distribute a product or service that you have. This is also the card of writing and publishing. So for those of you that are creative and want to put something into a written form so that people can either read it or connect with it, this is also validation of all of that. Okay, great time to learn. For those that also want to go back to school, this is going to help you in the next leg of the journey. Speaking of that, we have two powerful cards here. So I mentioned earlier that this reminded me of the Hierophant. Now we have the Hierophant. Let's talk about that, and then we'll move on to death and transformation underneath it. To understand the new card, it's going to be important to really look at the original Rider-Waite-Smith card. So we see two keys, two disciples, and a pontiff, basically a papal figure that is pontificating, is sharing their worldview and telling people what to do, how to do it, when to do it. It's a very rigid card. So what I like about this one is we don't have a papal sort of figure there. We just have wisdom indicated by the owl. And we have a very youthful figure here with the little girl here. And she's thinking, is this the best way? And with the card in reverse, there may be a better way to do something. The tried and true method may not always work. So to break it down into everyday terms, it's good in this moment to challenge old ways of thinking, to innovate, experiment, and try something new. In doing so, what are you going to make yourself? A thought leader. You're going to be bold. You're going to think outside of the box. Some people may view that as rebellious. I see it as necessary in order to what? Create change and movement. So death is a two-way door. One thing can end, something else can begin. And you can come out of this completely different. Usually there's a butterfly. There is a butterfly on this one here as well. So you're meant to change the old way and do something that is unique to you. Now, for many of you, this may not involve a project at work. It could just be how you're going to conduct yourself in your life, maybe a different career path, maybe the way that you are going to approach your relationship. Maybe you don't want to get married, maybe you don't want to have kids, maybe you do and your parents, were trying to tell you to do something different. Whatever it is, it's basically self-expression, but it is born out of research. So take a moment, that's why the Hanged Man was there. Tune in not only to your intuition, but also to what's going on and kind of how you feel about that. So we have research, we have evaluation, we have intuition, we have a temporary pause, then we lean into change. And then in the crowning position here, we have a card of movement. Again, informed movement. That's a big takeaway from this reading so far, both in the channeled portion, but now also here as we're looking at the Celtic Cross. Again, I think there's value in looking at the traditional illustration here. We see someone that is basically the driver or the navigator in the ship, and then we see passengers. So are you the one that's pushing something forward, or are you just sort of along for the ride? There's no wrong way to do anything this month, really, but you have a choice, either to continue or to change course and to change path. Now, in order to do that, now we can look at the updated version. It is about rising above and allowing yourself to see all of the possibilities. So we see someone surfing on a cloud instead of basically riding on that ship. So dream bigger, allow yourself to survey all of the options and explore all of the options before saying, I can or I can't do it. And in doing so, you may actually feel more emboldened and things could go faster than you think. I just get this feeling that there's a lot of sort of like momentum and movement and wind and sort of like a surge of energy that can move you forward, but it has to come from that feeling like, what have I got to lose, right? So if you're at a fork in the road and one is the traditional path and one is the road less traveled, it really does feel like going down that road less traveled is what Spirit is nudging you towards. You've got to tune in and make your own decision this month. All right, let's move into a different energy. We have basically getting untangled or decoupled from sort of a very tight relationship where the other person is sometimes in your business. So we have a beautiful Two of Cups, but notice how these tulips are intertwined. And there are two different figures. If you look really, really close, you can actually see her hip here, but there's almost an optical illusion where they seem like they're joined at the hip, right? And so there may be someone in your life who you love and who loves you as well, but they're so in your energy, or you're so in their energy that sometimes it holds you back. Notice that there was an anchor in the Six of Swords. That could be the anchor that is preventing movement, worrying like, what will happen if I'm not here? How are they going to cope? So in a good sort of relationship where there's two people that are not codependent, that are not sort of that closely connected, there's more freedom to move. And I feel like that's the main thing here. So creating better boundaries, saying no occasionally, and allowing yourself room to breathe and room to grow. There's a lot of love, but sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. And this can also, let's say you're not in a relationship, it can be a sibling sort of connection. It can also be even a boss who cares about you that's just in your business and micromanaging. So we could have a codependent relationship. We could have someone that micromanages. We could also just have a nosy neighbor. Someone needs to take a little bit more. You might need to initiate the space here. That's why the Six of Swords is here. Create boundaries, do some things on your own, show yourself and that person that it's going to be just fine. For those of you that are looking for love, the Two of Cups is already an affirmative card, that this is something that's within reach. The biggest challenge for some of you is just going to be in how quickly it might be happening. The person may be more serious or more interested in getting into a long-term relationship than you are, or vice versa. We just want to make sure that it's not rushed. And again, even boundaries could also be important here. It feels like it could get very intense very quickly. We'll look more deeper into this as we go into the expanded forecast, but whether it's new, existing, or developing relationships, what we see is take it slow, one step at a time. And the Hanged Man is also about pausing and looking around and kind of, again, getting perspective on everything that's going on. Now let's take a look at, I think, the first card that gives me pause in this entire spread, which is the Seven of Swords. So we have this card in the reverse state, and if you're going to get it, it's good to see it this way, because you're going to be able to see through motives. The way that this Seven of Swords is illustrated is self-serving motives. So someone may come through with the illusion, we have like a horn of plenty here, that this is going to be great for everybody. But the more you think about it, you think, actually, it feels like you're getting more out of this than anyone else, or you're not telling me everything. And non-disclosure, basically not saying the full truth, that is a form of deception, especially if by negating to say something, you're not allowing someone to make their mind up with an informed decision. And again, being very clear on what the trajectory is, that's what this whole month is about. So you need to be able to see the fine print. You should really know all of the stuff that's going on behind the curtain, especially since this High Priestess is pulling back the curtain. And by the way, in reverse, sometimes this can be a person that's trying to pull the wool over your eyes or project something or trick you, but you're going to see through it. The traditional Seven of Swords is a lot more obvious. But one thing that we see in this one is distraction plays an important role. So in the background, there's a bunch of people causing some commotion. And in the foreground, we have a person using that to their advantage. So what does this mean to you? Don't get distracted by somebody that's trying to put up a smoke screen. This could be someone that is trying to make a big deal, a mountain out of a molehill. Meanwhile, there's something over here that needs to be fixed, or they're doing something else and you're so focused on that you don't see it. That's why slowing down and looking at things from all perspectives is really what this Hanged Man is about. Pause and think, why are they doing this? What else is going on? Do I have time for this? Do I have time to deal with this person? Or is this just nonsense? And that may be all that you need to do to dismiss the Seven of Swords. You could just simply say, this isn't a priority right now. We don't have time for this. And you stop the behavior of someone trying to, again, get away with something. So that's what I'm picking up on, is you're going to be able to see through it. This High Priestess reminds me of like the Wizard of Oz, the wizard behind the curtain. She sees it. It's transparent. She moves on. She's not going to get wrapped up in things. She's going to also see someone for their true motives. And in doing so, is going to be able to push through to the next big thing. So this particular Seven of Wands is really strong. We have a strong man here. I love that the word love is imprinted on his chest, but the question is he tuning into that? Is it coming from a place of love, or is it pushy? So because it's in the environment, there could be someone that's trying to get you to do something that doesn't feel right. If you look at the traditional Seven of Wands, you can see it's a pushy card. When it's about you, it's usually defense. But when it's someone else, it's about, again, trying to push you across that chessboard to make you make the move that they want. This month, you're the strategic one. You're the one that's deciding how and where to move, and you're thinking 2 or 3 steps down the line. So that distraction that I was just talking about here in the Seven of Swords here. So we have someone in the background distracting you, possibly trying to get you to move in their direction. These 2 sevens work in concert. So you're going to slow down and say, this is a major decision. I need to understand all the different options before me. Let's not rush to a conclusion. Let's explore. And that should slow them down a little bit. You also have the power to push back because like energy attracts like energy. So Seven of Wands energy, it pushes both ways. You're just as strong as this person. So push back. If it doesn't feel right, push back. That's the big takeaway from this. This is also about working smarter, not harder. And 6 of Wands is all about success. 7 of Wands is about people putting more on your plate because they know you're capable. And you don't want to get into this feeling of, oh my God, I can't do it all. Of course, you don't have to do it all. You're supposed to be stepping into this energy of leadership. You're supposed to be getting a bird's eye perspective on things. So you delegate, you choose, you say no to some things. And in doing so, you show that you have discernment and good leadership potential. Okay? You're already in the energy of success because this comes after it. And in case you're doubting that, we have the Emperor here in hopes, fears, and opportunities. You have the chance to show that you're strong, that you can do this, and you're going to reclaim or discover your power this month. That's exciting. This is also a card of taking care of yourself. Yes, it's a boss card, but it's also a nurturing card, just like the Empress is. So this is a time to put your heart, your soul, your intention into something that you really want to see grow. I love that we see, instead of a mustache, we see these branches coming out. And so this is a time to really see networking, growth, movement, especially with the 6 of Swords here in the crowning position. And your outcome card is good. We have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is reversed. So one thing that the universe really wants you to tune into is, does this feel good for you? How do you feel about the outcome? Are you happy? Find a place where you are in that energy of joy, and then you're going to get more of that. And you could just simply be doubting yourself, thinking to yourself, can I do this? Do I deserve this? If something great has come into your lap or into your trajectory or general energy, it is because you are worthy. You just have to get to that point of feeling ready. And I think that's one of the bigger challenges for you this month. But I think it's one that you can handle. And hopefully, as we take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, which we're going to look at next, I can help you out with that. We're going to begin with the health energy first, which is mind, body, and spirit. The energy that came through for you was the mice, and this card was reversed. Mice represent for me something that's a little tricky, something that is slipping underneath the surface. And so this month, if there's something where it just feels a little out of sort, maybe there's an ache or a pain, or there's something that didn't used to be there, get it checked out. Talk to a professional. Standard disclaimer applies here. The way that I look at health is, where is the energy? Where is it pointing you? And how might that manifest in your body? So obviously, work with a doctor if you need to, but the first thing that we see here is, don't underestimate the little signs and signals. Pay attention to them when they're small and avoid them getting bigger than they need to. Now let's look at the rest of the cards. The most important thing, the thing that jumps out loud and clear, is death in the recent past, and then the Hierophant. Death represents stagnation when it's reversed like it was. So there could be something in your life that makes you feel like you're stuck. This could be an emotional thing where you just feel like, I keep trying, but I'm not making progress emotionally here or in this relationship. Or maybe stress at work or at school is making you feel stuck. What we also see is a very traditional approach to solving the problem. And because this card was reversed, it's saying, that doesn't work for me. In order to get unstuck, I need someone to help me grow and to help see things from a different perspective, help me see it from a different perspective. So we get moving on from, for some of you, it could be getting a second opinion with a doctor. It could be, moving on from a therapist, or moving on from a situation in your life where you feel like, I'm just not making progress here. So you have permission, if not a nudge from the universe, to move in a different direction. Okay, so that's loud and clear at the top. This can be a physical move, like a change of living environment. This, for some of you, could also be a change of working environment. And this is an encouragement also to, if you haven't taken a trip or traveled in a bit, Six of Swords is about seeing different things in the world, getting inspired, getting out of your headspace a little bit. And that's one of the great things that a holiday, a trip, or a vacation can do for us. Codependencies or really intense relationships are something that we want to create some distance from because of the Six of Swords. I think it's important to be honest with yourself. So the Seven of Swords can also be the little white lies that we tell ourselves when we're ready to start something new. And it's kind of like, the angel and the devil on your shoulder. The devil's here saying, you can start that tomorrow. We'll start, getting more physically fit or eating better or making that appointment down the line. You don't need to worry today. Have some fun. The reverse is true with this. It's saying, no, actually, we need to deal with this head on. Let's not be afraid, but let's not delay any longer than we already have. If you decide to start focusing on physical fitness, don't overdo it. This card, when reversed, can be basically a connection to pulling a muscle, because you end up lifting or pushing your body further than you need to. So in lifting weights, it's going to be 10, 20, 30 pounds extra, and all of a sudden it's a slip disc or a pulled muscle. If you're running or exercising, you push a little too far and you haven't had enough to drink. You could be dehydrated or, have a heat stroke or something like that. Don't do it. Slow and steady. There's no race. There's no rush. You're doing it for your own well-being. Ease into it. Don't push into it, okay? And the other thing here is, this is a card of stagnation because we just talked about death reversed. The hangman is about being still, and the emperor is pretty still. So one thing that would be great here is any form of gentle movement, like the Fool or like swimming. So walking, swimming, even chair-based yoga, anything where you're just moving your body gently, not quickly, not pushing, okay? Maybe some dehydration for some of you as well, okay? Otherwise, most of this is manageable, and even what I'm seeing here, it feels like you can work your way through it. Let's move on. Let's go from health to wealth. This is going to give you a chance to dig a little bit deeper into opportunities, into personal growth, and of course into money. So in the area of wealth, we have Make a Wish. I love this card, but the wish is upside down here because some of us have been told as an adult, that's too lofty of a goal. You'll never be able to accomplish that. You would be foolish to try this. I'm here to tell you this is a moment to really connect with your magician. The wand, it can either be the magician or the king or queen of wands or the ace of wands, but we need to take that wish, make it, and then breathe some energy into it. I feel like this can be what helps many of you find the GPS, the roadmap that we talked about earlier. And we're getting it in wealth, which means that the time and energy you're spending on, working, creating, or developing something that really needs to be connected with the heart. When the heart is open, everything is open and opportunity starts to knock. All right, let's take a moment and look at three major categories. Those that are working, including, by the way, entrepreneurs. Then we'll take a look at those that are job seeking, then students and retirees. Beginning with those that have a traditional 9-to-5 job, let's see what the message is for you. First of all, some of you just feel a little bit frustrated in the inability to be creative. So High Priestess energy at her core is super plugged in, super creative, a card that I would often see for anybody that might be a writer, an illustrator, someone in marketing, someone that really wants to kind of have an impact on what they're doing. What we see here, though, is there's been a lack of that, or maybe there's someone that's very, very conservative, traditional, or closed off to those new ideas. And the challenge here is maybe how to, you could do this with another person. Maybe the power of two can come through and kind of help them see it from a different perspective. What I do see overall for those that are currently working is this feeling of being stuck a little bit. And so if it's just being stuck because you're afraid to take a risk, the encouragement is to be bold. If you're in a situation where the environment doesn't allow you to kind of express yourself or spread your wings, then it's time to, again, try to partner up with different people or explore other options out there if you're feeling that lack of support. For many of you, you may be thinking of going back to school. Three of Pentacles invariably is a very, very good card. It allows others to see you from a different perspective. You may already have a skill or a gift that people don't know about or they forgot about, or someone else hired you and you're working for someone and they have no idea that you have this in your sort of toolkit, and now is the time to really speak up and let them know that this is something you're interested in if you have this sort of secret talent. I think it's really important to be discerning and to be awake and aware of what's going on here. Seven of Swords, again, could be someone that isn't telling you something. And they could be trying to get you involved in something new. Hey, maybe it's your boss. There's a new project. I'd like you on it. You could ask, well, what's going on? What am I walking into? Make sure that you understand what it is that you're getting involved with so that you can fully feel confident and not, sort of have to play a lot of catch up. I think the other thing here is there's just a lot happening at once. The next card in this progression is Eight of Wands. So you're busy. In order to be able to achieve that sort of steady movement, you have to be discerning in this moment. So say no to things. Again, if they don't feel right, delegate. You can't have your hands on everything. You're going to have to lean on partnership. There could also be someone around you that won't delegate to you. You can do it, but they won't let it go. In that case, there's only so much you can do. Sometimes they have to trip up or get to the point where they miss a deadline. Then you can say, hey, let me take that. I can handle this. But at some point, there's only so much that you can do if they're in a position of authority. But just be patient. It does feel like that's going to work itself out if it's out of your hands. I feel like you are poised for like a step up opportunity with this being in opportunities. So if you're willing and ready or even wanting that, also make sure that you're being seen and heard. You deserve a voice at that meeting, a seat at the table, and sometimes there's a lot of voices in the room. Just make sure that you speak up. Even if it occasionally means like if you're always the one in the background, have to interrupt and say, before we move on, like I need, I have some feedback, or I would really like a chance to try this. Can I do it? So speak up. It's the only way sometimes to be seen and to be able to connect with what's going on here. So being a little bossy, being a little pushy can be advantageous for you as well. Let's now shift into entrepreneurial energy. So if you own your own business or if you're just starting it, first of all, this is where you should be because we have the Emperor card here in your hopes and dreams. It may also be important for you to make sure that wherever it is that you're working feels right, like the office space feels right. If not, we have relocation energy coming through. Some of you may simply have outgrown the office in which you're working. And if that's the case, it's time to invest a little bit and move up. Something is a little bit stagnant here in the recent past. It could be a product, a service, or a way that you're doing your business. I mentioned earlier this felt like it could be, because this is communication, it could be the marketing. So maybe hiring a social media expert to help you with that, or just taking some more risks when it comes to how you're reaching out to customers is important. If there is something that doesn't produce, like you're not getting a return on the energy or the money that you're investing in it, it's time to let it go. Delegation is really, really key. Looking at the deep past, you have 3 of Pentacles, so it feels like you've made some good decisions with money. Now it's a matter of making sure that you're not micromanaging and trying to do the job of like many, many people. At least one other person coming into the fold could be great. We have a junior energy here with this page, so that's why it feels like it could be a social media like intern or a younger sort of hire that can innovate and bring new approaches, and and that could be really good for your business right now. Before signing any contract, because we got this 7 of Swords, make sure that you can keep up your end of the bargain, and also make sure that you're not signing away something that's important to you. Get a lawyer, redline it if it doesn't make sense. Don't proceed until you feel good, okay? Also, it's really important to share the love and share the rewards here. So we have all of these eggs that this person is trying to keep for themselves. If you've achieved a moment of success and it's due to someone's assistance, give them a bonus, a spot bonus or a raise or something like that. Okay, moving on to those that are job seeking, let's see what's coming forth for you. Throwing out your sort of a wider net here is the first thing with the 6 of Swords. To a different city, state, country, or province. I'm seeing it loud and clear. Anything that didn't work out in the past, it was not meant to. So when we have death here in the recent past, let it go. Especially if it was something where I feel like you might have just been a little bit too new, too innovative, too outspoken for that particular opportunity or company. This is a great time to immerse yourself in something new. This could just be like a weekend training program, a 1-hour seminar. In doing this, what I like about it is it could bring across some sort of chance meeting. You could connect with the teacher. You could meet a fellow student or trainee that is really kind of behind what you're trying to do and could help you connect with somebody. So the training itself or the educational experience itself is not as important as who you meet there. Yes, you're going to have some great experiences there, but this is also like a professional organization. If there's some sort of a meetup or a convention, now is the time to do that because you meet somebody there that can help you meet somebody else. So word of mouth or a connection of 2 to 3 people to get to the desired sort of final destination where, yes, this is how I'm going to get that job. This is how I'm going to, open the door. That's what we're looking at here. Okay. Don't be too pushy. The one thing here with the 7 of Wands, and this happens too when you're really, really interested in something, 1 or 2 follow-ups is enough. Let it go. I really do feel like if something isn't progressing, then it's time to move in a different direction. And, some of you are being encouraged to explore the path of entrepreneurship if you have, again, the resources to do so, particularly since this is here and this creative energy is here. Trust your instincts when you do get a chance to either have a face-to-face or Zoom meeting or go to a company and look at their sort of office spaces, because there's so much that you can garner from that. Do you like who you're talking to? Do you see happy people or stressed people? Do you like the neighborhood where this office is? All of these things are going to affect your general mood and mental state the longer that you're there. So listen to your intuition when it comes to all of that. Can you find work right now? Yes, but it's competitive. 7 of Wands represents a lot of competition. A creative approach can help you. A wider net, like I said, can help you. And really right now, it feels like the magical way to get through is an event, a hiring event, a seminar, a training session, something where like-minded individuals are, and you're going to make the important connection there. Be very discerning before signing any contract with the 7 of Swords here and the 7 of Wands. If they try to get you to sign it without reading it, red flag, don't do it. Walk away, get someone else to take a look at it. Remember here that it's really important for you to feel aligned to what it is that you want to do. That makes interviewing easier because they're going to pick up on the passion. This is true for everybody, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're already working, or you're looking for work. When you feel this sense of passion and excitement, it's palpable, it's tangible. Other people also feel it as well. So that's everything here. And it could be a factor of 2 here. 2 weeks might take a couple of meetings, a couple of people before you're able to land it, but it does look good at the end of the day. A move may be required for this next job. Okay, moving onward to students. Students, just slow down. That's the main thing that I get here. And make sure that you're feeling like from a place of creativity and just intellectual stimulation that you're getting what you need to out of your program. If it feels like it's too traditional, it may be time to transfer. Transfer to a different major, transfer to a different school. But don't make that decision immediately. I mean, we're already kind of into the semester here. Finish the semester, get the credit hours, and then transfer if you need to. If you're happy, what I'm seeing for many of you is this feeling of simply pushing yourself too far with the 7 of Wands, not having enough time for social interactions, and just needing to pay a little bit more attention to your mental state of mind, okay? Emotional and mental health is important. For those of you that are retired, right now is a great time to network. People may be seeking you out. There may be too many requests or too many opportunities, so you're gonna really be picky on how and when and how often you want to sort of show up. Travel is coming through loud and clear in the crowning position, and just enjoying. I feel like many of you just really want to take a moment to dream a little bit. So this is the most important perhaps for retirees. It's now time to reimagine who you are and what you can do. School, arts, artistic endeavors. When I say the arts, I should say this could be dance or painting or music or anything. And you could be taking classes just because it's fun. I'm definitely picking up on that for you. All right, before we move into love, Apollo has come back, and I thought I'd put him up for a second. He's peaceful, he's loving, he's a nice segue into this energy. So your oracle card for love is Compassion for Self, and it has a little wish at the bottom. Let's pull it closer to the camera so you can read it. It says, "May I be free from suffering." Love this. As we take a look at the cards here, there's actually a really clear connection to this, which is right here. So for many of you, you've been in a dead-end relationship. It could be love, it could be business, any type of relationship, but it's like you've tried, but it's just not going anywhere. For some of you, there may also be someone that is so rigid that it's either like they put it out there as an ultimatum, their way or the highway. In this situation, you may be at a point where you're ready to call their bluff and say, you know what, I got to move on. This is also just permission for you to move forward. And if people don't like what you're putting out there, they can take it or leave it too, because this is a moment for you to really get into the butterfly energy that we see on this death and rebirth card. Growth requires movement. And if someone is trying to anchor you and not allow that movement, that again it's conditional love, right? It's not unconditional. So we really want to lean into someone who has an open heart, an open mind, who is accepting. And it feels like for some of you, you're allowing yourself to take that sort of steering column and drive. So we'll look at this in a little bit more depth now, because we're going to look at 3 primary categories. We'll start off with those in a relationship, seeking love, single and happy. First things first, with those in a relationship, let's see what's going on. All right, so I feel like one of you has made a really big shift in your life, and the other one may be happy the way things were. And it's really about trying to show them that you're still the person that they fell in love with, but just a little bit more. It's like the next level. So if you can grow together, then this is something that can stand the test of time. But if they don't allow you to spread your wings, that's a bigger conversation. So I definitely see that split in the road where one partner is really exploring some new things. Maybe there's some more travel that's going on in your life, or you're getting interested in exploring either experiences or maybe a new course of study. A lot of growth and movement. That's exciting. I do think that you can find your way through this. That's the silver lining here. We have two of Cups and the Page of Cups. The important thing in an existing relationship is making sure that both of you are open to receive feedback from the other person, and that you've also done the inner healing. So compassion for self. This would work for you and your partner. Really making sure that you've healed the familial, ancestral, societal, and personal wounds that you may be carrying, so that together now you can really just be BFFs, right? Because in addition to being lovers, this should be friends too. But what I talked about earlier still stands true here, which is there's just a little too much. It feels like it may be too much for the two of you to deal with right now. So talking to a therapist, a mentor, or a friend could also alleviate some of the burden. So that's one message. Let's elevate this Two of Cups to the traditional card here. So now we see people heart to heart, eye to eye, ready to really be there for each other. One of the things that could help right now is making sure that you're slowing down, since we got the Hanged Man at the center, slowing down long enough to make time for each other. It may be as simple as working out together, taking a meal together, carpooling, driving together, something that you're already having to do, but instead of doing it solo, it's a joint activity. And by doing that, you're going to allow for more fluid communication, a better exchange, and more intimacy. Intimacy is not just physical, it's also just spending time and seeing and hearing one another. And even just saying, I hear what you're saying, I understand, or tell me more, I want to understand. That expressing interest and presence is going to be so critical to making it easier to be in each other's presence, right? So just affirmation, confirmation, and being there for the other person. I feel like that's the main takeaway here. Some other things that we see in this spread that could be creating some challenges. Making sure that you're both keeping up your end of the bargain. I mean, it cuts both ways with the Seven of Swords. Sometimes it's just a little, overextension, and you say, yeah, I'll do that, and you forget on the way home. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. Just basically say, I'm counting on you for that, but no worries, I'm going to go do it right now. Everybody makes a mistake. Nobody's perfect. But if someone is consistently forgetting, it's a bigger conversation, right? Also, not pushing one another to do things that are either way outside of your comfort zone, or it just feels like there's a lot of pressure. We need it to be a little bit easier and get back into the partnership rather than sort of like boss energy. And Emperor energy can be parental. And when we're looking at this card, there could be things from your parents that you're kind of working out now in the relationship. So when it goes to inner healing, you and or your partner might be looking at childhood wounds or familial wounds that need to be healed. And once you do that, then you're going to be better able to see each other heart to heart, eye to eye, and make it work. Okay, overall, fairly manageable. The only other thing that I'm picking up on before we go to those that are seeking love is this distance component. The Six of Swords can sometimes be the feeling that you're in the same room, but the person's miles away. Maybe it's because they're on their device. Maybe it's because when they're talking, you can see the mental sort of like, it's like the wheel is turning and they're thinking of something else. So slowing down and making sure that you're both on the same page. And whenever it is that you're communicating, you're doing it at a time when they're more accessible, right? Okay, let's move on to those that are seeking love. It might be someone that you've never met. The Six of Swords is usually someone from either a different place or a different background. Like I said at the very beginning when we were looking at the Celtic Cross, can you find love? Yes, but it may be intense. What we see is a maturation here. So someone that is either wise in years or just an old soul, and they really want to find a connection. They've been seeking it for a long time. That's been their wish. And are you ready, and are they ready? Because if not, then it becomes a teacher and or boss sort of thing where it's butting of heads. So that's why the healing comes through first. If someone, across the board, if someone makes a mistake this month, friend, lover, parent, sister, brother, doesn't have to just be in the normal relationship categories, have compassion for them. Ask them first, what's going on? How did this happen? Are you okay? Begin with empathy, begin with love. It's going to allow you to get further into their heart space than if you were just to push through with, why didn't this happen or whatever. So it's important to always check in because there may be a very good reason that it did happen the way that it happened. Going back now to those that are seeking love, I'm getting mature energy, very serious, very keen on partnering, different background. And for some of you, there could be a different religious background because Hierophant and High Priestess represent the new and the old, or a mixing of the ways. And it is something that can blend together nicely, but it's give and take. And that's the challenge across all relationships, but particularly new relationships, because that's when it came up. This person may be someone that you've been looking for a long time. And so we see this beautiful key energy. They may be the perfect fit. Don't give up. This is a time where you may find that really great fit and good for you, okay? But the main challenges right now for some of you could be work, could be travel, and could be the level of commitment that you can offer. Don't promise more than you can deliver, for sure, okay? I get water sign energy coming forth. I get someone who may not be telling you everything at first, so slow down and get to know them. Trust your instincts. If it feels right, great. If it doesn't, slow down and maybe go in a different direction. All right? You'll know it when you see it. All right, now looking at those that are happily single, first and foremost, good for you. I feel like being able to travel, explore, and learn. These are the things that are coming through loud and clear. So this is traveling, this is learning something new. We have creative cards as well. All of that energy is presenting itself. And you may also be someone that through your own stories and experiences can help heal someone else. Teaching, mentoring, writing, because we have this writing card or authorship card in the deep past. Don't underestimate the value of your stories and your voice and your experience. It's important and it's needed in this period of time. Let's take a look at destiny. I love that we're getting, it's the second owl, so let's just look at it in the spread. We have the Hierophant in the recent past, now we have the owl coming through here. And because it's reversed, we're gonna kind of turn the words inside out a little bit. So this is a time where you're going to challenge conventional wisdom. You're going to allow yourself to learn new things. Sometimes we think, I've learned everything that I can, but there may be something new. There may be a different way to approach it, and opening yourself up to new learnings or experiences could be great. And don't reject or sort of push against transition. What is transition but the death card? And so in this moment in time, it's almost like Spirit wants you to really embrace the metamorphosis, the cocooning energy. That's why when we look at the spread here, we have the slowing down. And it's about slowly coming out of the chrysalis or cocoon, allowing yourself to breathe, allowing the wings to dry off before you spread them and fly. And again, this month there is something about being able to question and remaining curious. So the owl reversed is saying it's a challenge to all of these things. What you've learned may not be the only way to do it. Conventional wisdom may not be enough in this moment. And resisting the transition really isn't going to serve a better purpose. You've got to ease into all of that, right? So I think this is an exciting and transformative month, provided that you remain open and willing to see what it has to offer. Let's dig a little deeper. We're going to go now into sun, rising, and moon signs and see what else is coming through. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle. Sun, rising, and moon, and we have beautiful cards coming through on this. We're going to start off with sun first. You've got the whole world right there in front of you, in your hands, like that old song. It's a matter of believing what you are seeing and allowing yourself to just embrace it for the truth that it is. It's possible. It's within reach. Somebody in the past told you it wasn't. Somebody in the past blocked you. Something around you is anchoring you. You're going to hold that dream or that vision and say, I've got this. I can do this. Take time this month to dream, to put the road, now we're back to the beginning here, to create the roadmap. It's a new plan, it's a new day, and now is a chance to open up to that. Whatever did or didn't happen in the past, so be it. It's in the past. Now you're focusing on being present and setting into motion your dreams, your goals, your vision. Really powerful. So nicely aligned with sun sign message, but you have to take some time every day to dream and to plan and to roll those plans into action. Let's move to rising here. We have the Eight of Wands. I love this card. Remember, as we were taking a look at the spread, I said here in the environment, you're on the heels of success, which is why the Seven of Wands came into this spread. It's important to be discerning because I mentioned very soon this energy would be coming through. We have this in the reverse state, which could represent for some of you delaying too long, not taking that initial first step. We want to make sure that you're at the races, when the sounding whistle goes off, so that you can basically capitalize on the moment. A synchronicity is opening up, and the one thing that's important is being able to recognize that. If it's easy, if it's uplifting, if it's exciting, if it really kind of connects on that heart space like we saw, if it's the perfect opportunity, don't delay. That is when you know that it's time to go, and things will start to elevate and move in the right direction naturally, quickly, and in a way that just feels right to you. One thing that you also want to pay attention to is that there's a time and a place to push against what people expect, but there's also a time where it's like, if I have to keep pushing so much, why don't I just go where the energy is more receptive? Again, don't force the connection. If the wind is blowing you over there, follow that. Follow your heart, follow the energy, follow the opportunity. It may be a great time to move, to make a significant move in life, in love, in business in general, okay? Let's move on to moon sign messages. You guys got the star. So nicely connected. And, I mentioned here with making a wish, this was in wealth. You have a really great chance of accomplishing a goal, a wish, or a dream, just like the Two of Wands, but even more so. So this is a chance for you to reach and aim high, to step into your authentic self. Don't dim your light for anybody. In this moment in time especially, you really want to be authentic. Your dream could come true. At the very least, you're going to feel very happy and accomplished, because success is subjective. Doing what you love, trying something, even if it isn't as successful or as big as you thought, it still constitutes success. And guess what? Maybe you can actually go much farther than you expected here. So don't even cap the possibilities. Allow yourself to just think, why not? I am ready, I am worthy, I'm showing up, I'm doing this, okay? And that can help your star rise. Now let's take a look at the final question that you might have for me today. It can be anything that we haven't had a chance to look at so far. Go ahead and formulate that question. I'm going to shuffle the cards and we'll see what Spirit has to say. All right, so we have a yes, comma with this, but we have an Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Lots of reversals today, and this is really about getting your head in the right space. With the Ace of Pentacles, it's a reminder that things don't grow overnight. They take time, consistent sort of energy and investment, and faith and hope. So you have to just really believe in it and keep showing up every day. Consistency is king in this particular card. As a yes or no question, again, it's yes, but are you ready to do the work? And yes, but make sure that this is also something that's returning on the energy that you're putting into it. If you need something this month, speak up. You have a good chance of receiving, but you have to put your hand out there. Traditional ace cards will show a hand holding a coin. It can either be delivering it or receiving it. I usually interpret a reversed ace as something that needs to come your way. Therefore, you need to articulate it, and that is the opportunity this month. If you need it, ask. If it's not enough, speak up. If you have extra to give, do so. Generally speaking, plant a seed and continue consistently showing up, knowing that eventually that seed will come to be fruitful, and it's going to be worth the time and the energy that you're investing. What a powerful reading. And just to recalibrate, I mentioned the roadmap. I think that it came through really loud and clear when I was looking at rising sign messages. You need to know where you're going in order to recognize the signs and symbols, and you have to show up every day to basically invest, like we saw here, to make it happen. And then you have a really good chance of making the dreams happen. So the last few cards were some of the most powerful. Make a wish. Be compassionate for yourself. Be willing to challenge conventional wisdom. And the important thing here too, when it comes to health, is don't ignore the signs and symbols as they pop up. That brings this reading to a close. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps. You can also follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. Remember, I don't offer private readings. I don't use direct messages. Watch out for any imposters. If you want to show some love and support, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and memberships, all of which help this channel grow. And that, my friends, is everything. We'll wrap up with just a little bit of love and support here from Apollo. And again, I'd like to thank all of you for spending some time with me today. Take care, and I'll see you soon.